Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Last time we entered Ishgard and started on Heavensward, and I decided to record quite a bit more than I actually thought I would, so 4 or 5 episodes probably. Greetings, Miss Klingor. On behalf of House Fortemp, I bid you welcome to Ishgard. My lord humbly requests your presence at his residence in the Pillars. If you all would come with me. Yeah, and I of course must walk on my own. Anyway, let's pick up the big aetheryte. And go directly to the manor. I do that because we in a moment get a tour of the city, so it is a bit pointless running around town now. Well, not entirely, but you get my meaning, right? To show you the city, so and by the way, these quests here, this starts the Dark Knight job and this is the Astrologian. And if you was on Foundation down here at the Sky Steel Manufactory, you can start the Machinist. The 3 new jobs for Heavensward. Beginning with Stormblood, all jobs are in the old zones, usually in the main cities somewhere, and because people were really pissed off that you could not start these jobs before you actually are in Heavensward. Because they are in Ishgard. Okay, Hauchefant. The warrior of light and her brave companions, walking the streets of Ishgard at last. What a glorious sight. I cannot tell you how long I have waited for this day. Allow me to present you to my family home. Fortemp's Manor. I should like nothing more than to show you around, but everyone is gathered to receive you. Come, my friends, introductions must be made.
My lord, I have returned with the Scions.
I hope your journey was not too taxing.
Aside from being hunted down, and all that, yeah, from Camp Dragonhead, no, so, we in canon have been there a while.
I, Count Edmont de Fortemp, do bid you welcome. As wards of House Fortemp, you shall be afforded every courtesy. My home is your home.
My companions and I are deeply honored, Count Fortemp.
The honor is mine, Master Alphino. Consider it an expression of our gratitude for your service to Ishgard.
Forgive me, my lord, but are you not concerned? To accept foreign guests at such a juncture, especially ones with our reputation.
Regicide?
Do not worry yourself on my account. 'Tis true that Ishgard's first thought has ever been the war effort, hence the closing of our borders. Yet it is in troubled times most of all that men should seek allies. Don't you think? Granted, my decision will have raised eyebrows in the vault and in the halls of the other high houses. But so long as you continue with your altruistic endeavors, I doubt my honored peers will feel moved to voice their concerns.
Then there is naught to fear. Though our numbers are much reduced, we are no less determined to carry on our work.
Full glad am I to hear it. But before you return to your labors, why not take a tour of the city? You would do well, I think, to acquaint yourselves with your new surroundings. After all, you may be here for some time.
So this is what the inside of a manor of a high house looks like. To think that Lord Hauchefant was raised here. So, what do you think? Be honest, it's great, isn't it? My home is your home. After all you have done on our behalf, it's the least I can offer. Greetings, Scion, and welcome. We are honored by your presence. They'll be whispering about you soon if they aren't already. The mysterious guests of House Fortemp said some such. Though our friends in House Fortemp have been generous enough to extend us their protection, we must take care not to impose too much on their hospitality. It's only prudent that we learn about our new home, so that we might become more self-sufficient. It'll take a while to learn the lay of the land, but learn we must. When there's the markets and the taverns, we need to know where to shop and where to hear small talk. It would seem a tour of the city is indeed in order. I thank you for your counsel, my lord. My companions and I shall of course do as you suggest. Very good. Then my manservant shall accompany you. He will be able to answer any question you might have. But I go forgetful in my dotage. There's something I must give you, every part. The documentation is in order, I trust? Yes, my lord. Those documents identify you as wards of House Fortemp. Given that our borders have remained closed for decades, many of my countrymen are accustomed to treating with foreigners. Should anyone happen to question your presence here, it may prove necessary to remind them that you remain under the protection of House Fortemp. But let us hope it shall not come to that. Rest assured that we shall do our utmost to avoid any situation which might compel us to invoke your name. Desiree, Tataru, the city awaits. Let's go! As this is your first time in our fair city, pray permit me to show you to the Hoplon, from whence you may gaze upon the splendor of the Holy Vault. Though all other sights pale in comparison, 'tis only meet that you see it first. I shall then show you around the jeweled croisière, where you may purchase all manner of goods and services, before descending to Foundation's Aetheryte Plaza, if there are no questions. past the statues of the knights. The Holy Vault where the Archbishop rules. They're awfully fond of statues, aren't they? Hey, what if I took up sculpting? I bet you could make a fortune in a place like this. And we need every gil we can get. The Hoplon, so named for a bronze great shield borne by our nation's patron deity, is the largest plaza in Ishgard. The magnificent cathedral to the north is, of course, the Holy Vault. The vault is both Ishgard's seat of government and the residence of the Archbishop of the Ishgardian Orthodox Church. Begging your pardon, the statues to the south, are they perchance Forden's famed Knights 12? Very good, Master Alvino. They are the fathers of Ishgard, the brave knights who joined with King Forden the First to put down Nidhogg and found this great nation. Ours is a city rich in history and tradition, and there's much you can learn by exploring the pillars, time permitting, of course. Now then, if you would follow me to the Jewel Corsair, I shall introduce you to Mistress Elise, our Mistress of the Markets. Of course, they don't show us the full of Ishgard because over there it would go on, but that is completely impassable. People are still crafting here like crazy. Not a single scorched stone in sight. To watch these merchants going about their business, I don't think the dragons had never attacked. If you want to buy something, let me do the talking. I could haggle for Ulda. I present to you Mistress Elise. Mayhap you would like to say a few words? Well, you're clearly not locals or traveling peddlers, which makes you all, Wards of Hauchefant. Ah, Wards of Hauchefant. Very interesting. Count Edmont has granted us leave to remain in Ishgard for as long as we wish, which may be some time. Accordingly, we will have need of sundry goods, hence our desire to make your acquaintance. That is, of course, assuming you are content to accept custom of foreigners. Should you be uncomfortable? Young sir, we do not discriminate in matters of money. If you have coin to spend, who are we to refuse it? Weapons, armor, accoutrements, medicine, materials, whatever you desire, it can be found in the Corsair. Our merchants will be more than happy to accommodate you, as you shall soon see. Our next destination is the Heavensward Plaza and Foundation, if everyone is ready. Now, when you play the crafter jobs for Heavensward, the crafter job quests, you actually learn that actually people do discriminate against people despite money, particularly against commoners, but we are wards of a high house, and that's that we are to be treated like nobles. So yeah, that is actually a problem here in Ishgard. that there are situations where a commoner cannot buy stuff despite having the money for being a commoner. This building is the Sky Steel Manufactory. Down there are the Chocobo stables, and yeah. And there are the Lave quests. Oh, I've already attuned myself to the Everite. I trust you have as well? I have. Do you ever get a funny tingling feeling when you're attuned to an Everite, or is it just me? No? So it is just me. Oh, and here we have a Foundation's Everite Plaza. If you had to attune to the Everite, it would be wise to do so now. As for our next destination, maybe we should decide together. What else can be found nearby? The Sky Steel Manufactory stands to the west, where our engineers conceive and manufacture weapons for use against the dragons. The holy stables where chocobos are trained for war also lie in that direction. As I said. To the north and east can be found the congregation of our knights most heavenly, while to the south and east, well, it would be best if you avoided that area. And why is that? I fear our knights may not be able to ensure your safety in the lowest levels, Master Alphino. Hold your horses when you pass the broom, little lord. A delicate flower like you is like to wilt in our fumes. You misjudge me, sir, for I'm no lord but a humble traveler. Oh, come to see the sights, have you? Take a turn down the hopper and gawp at the statues. Well, if you have a mind to learn how the better half lives, come and have a drink at the Forgotten Knight, if your nursemaid will let you. My humblest apologies, Master Alphino. Pray pay the drunken lout no mind. Oh, but I must insist. It would not do to refuse such a heartfelt invitation. Yes, I simply must see this Forgotten Knight for myself. I trust you see the wisdom in this, Desiree. There are few sources of information more abundant than a bustling local hostelry. Not that I expect to hear any news from our comrades just yet. Nevertheless, who can say what we might learn of recent events? Then I'm coming too. You have been outvoted, sir. And there's the congregation of our knights most heavenly, and to the right of it is the tavern. Must say, this is rather unusual. Not just one, but a whole party of fresh new faces in my tavern. We but recently arrived in Ishgard and are eager to acquaint ourselves with her more notable establishments, Master. Brilliant. Just brilliant will do. And I'm flattered you think so high of my establishment. Can't promise it'll live up to your expectations, but if it's decent food and drink you after, you could do much worse. Judging by the number of customers I see, I suspect your fare is rather more than decent. Speaking of your clientele, I could not help but note a difference between those who frequent the upper and lower floors. Spotted that, did you? Aye. Up here, you'll find peddlers, porters, off-duty knights and so forth, dropping in on their way to or from somewhere else. Regulars maybe, but not locals. Folks from the room, they tend to congregate downstairs, where we offer a menu more suited to their tastes. Cheaper meals, stronger spirits, all quality mind, but not the sort of stuff I'd recommend to yourselves. You speak of the lower levels, yes? Why do they call them the broom, if I may ask? Because when the weather's foul and the broom rolls in thick, it's the poor sorts living at the bottom who have to deal with it. I see. And it's not just the weather. When the wyverns broke through the walls and started tearing up the city, it was the broom that got the worst of it, while the pillars enjoy the protection of the high houses and the temple knights. More than a few people are still sore about that mind, which is why, considering a present company, I'd recommend you keep your wits about you if you mean to go below, and something sharp in your boot, just to be sure. I should take your words to heart, so. Master Alphino, I think it would be best if we return to Fortemp Manor. You go on ahead without me. I'm staying for a drink or two. Mr. Taru, I'm afraid that it's out of the question. My lord the Count would never forgive me if I abandoned one of his charges in such a place, least of all a maiden. What are you up to, Tataru? Look around, Alphino. This tavern is full of people whose business regularly takes them beyond the gates of judgment. With friends like that, I could practically live here and wait for the newest gossip to come to me. Indeed, but will you be safe here on your own? Oh please, do you know how often I looked after waking sands and the rising stones by myself? If I had a guild for every unwelcome caller I had driven away, I'd be witched beyond my wildest dreams. I'll be fine. Not that I doubt the lady's neck for fending off unwanted advances, but I'll be damned if I'm going to let anyone lay an unwelcome hand on a patron in my establishment. That settles it then, Tataru. Desiree and I shall return to the manor for now. Contact me by link pearl if you require assistance. I will. Okay, and it's you up here, right, who unlocks the hunt? Well, 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 what do we have here? You look like you've seen a scrap or two? My name is Etienne, and I'm a proud member of Clan Centurio, the toughest band of warriors this side of the steppes. You have heard of a hunt, right? The Grand Companies run it in the west of Eorzea, but up it is the clan's concern. We follow the same system, but we're free to pick our own marks. Reckon you've got the speed, the strength, and the heart to take down some of the more ferocious fiends this side of the Seven Tiles? If you think you're up to the challenge, head downstairs and have a word with Adolan. He'll fill you in on the details. Now, I'm not certain I ever actually shown off a hunt in A Realm Reborn, because it was such a pretty boring thing actually. Good evening to you, young lady. How can I be of service? Ah, so you fancy trying your hand at the hunt, do you? Well, if Etienne reckons you're up to it, it isn't for an old man like me to say elsewise. Me and him are members of Clan Centurio, a ragtag bank of glory hunters and mercenaries and has-beens brought together by Sir Lest, one of Ishgard's most noble of nobles. Whenever a monster grows too big for its boots, we are the ones who risk our necks to take it down. Doesn't matter who you are or where you come from, as long as you can wield a weapon and you don't fear death, you're always welcome to the clan. Take me, for instance. I was born 1,000 miles from here, but now I'm the one showing the new recruits the ropes. But how about it, young lady? Will you join us in the hunt? If the fame and glory is not enough for you, perhaps the rich rewards on offer might change your mind? Then welcome to the clan. What's your name again? Desiree, is it? Alright, I put your name in the books. Now, I suppose you'll be wanting to take a look at some of our marks. Head up the stairs and out the door. The clan board is on the wall outside. Round to the left. Round to the left. You'd better stick to the level 1 marks for the nuns. No point running before you can walk. Now, but Domen gear and the other is the what was it? The artifact gear. The artifact gear is what you get for your level 60 job quest, a full set for your job. But if you want to rebuy it, you can do that here. And Domen gear is, well, gear that looks somewhat Asian. The clan board is covered with fields showing the details of wanted monsters. Follow advice and pick a level 1 mark. Clan hunts now accessible. And you have a list of monsters here. You can hunt and get marks and experience points and, well, and of course turn the seals in for prizes. And I now go around Ishgard a bit and collect the aetheryte shards before returning to the house. And there I am. Tell us, Master Avenum, does Ishgard meet with your expectation? That which I imagine pales in comparison to reality. I felt the weight of 1,000 years of history with every step I took, and when those steps took me past the scars left by the wyverns and Foundation, I understood how easily that history could end in tragedy. The attack was devastating, the casualties unspeakable. The wyverns did not discriminate. Unarmed men and women, even children, were given no quarter. Sir Emmerich has ordered his knights to strengthen our defenses, and each house has been called upon to lend what support it can. There is much to be done, yet, alas, able-bodied men and women are in short supply. Mayhap we could be of assistance, my lord? After all you have done for us, we would welcome any opportunity to repay your kindness. Yeah. That is a most generous offer, Master Alvino. You are guests in my home, to whom I have extended my hospitality without obligation, let or lien. Nevertheless, Ishgard's need is great, and if you are willing to aid our cause, I cannot well refuse. Good, what would you ask of us? From what I've heard, you are an intelligent and persuasive young man. Such qualities may prove useful to us in our effort to secure provisions from foreign sources, identifying trustworthy suppliers, brokering contracts, and so on. As for you, Mistress Klingor, I could ask for no one better than a storied veteran such as yourself, a woman with the capacity to act swiftly and decisively when needed, to aid Arturel and the Manelaine in their duties. I beg your pardon? I'm more than capable of carrying out my duties by myself. I have no need of our honored guest's assistance. Now, be reasonable, brother. What man or fool would say no when a famous hero offered to do his work? Hold your tongues, by the fury. The two of you will conduct yourself with dignity befitting your station and show Mistress Klingor the respect she deserves. This is the woman who slew Gaius van Belza and some half-dozen primals besides. She's not here to steal your glory or serve as your errand girl. If you can pardon them their impropriety, Mistress Klingor, I should be much obliged if you would lend my sons a helping hand. My thanks. Fury willing, they may even learn something from you. And he walks out. It would seem we shall not want for employment over the coming days, though that was never in doubt. Our host's initial reluctance to accept our offer of aid was solely for appearance's sake, and truth he is glad of his opportunity to put us to work. By granting us patronage, House Fortemp has taken a tremendous risk. Until we demonstrate our worth to Ishgard at large, the Count will face considerable opposition from his peers in matters great and small. And so he would have us publicly serve Ishgard while simultaneously keep his sons in check. 'Tis an arrangement we may benefit from in unexpected ways. My own duties may feasibly bring me into contact with people who know something of our missing comrades. And as you go about helping our two lords with their various responsibilities, you will inevitably make new acquaintances in Ishgard. Mayhap even new allies. Yes, the more I think on it, the more confident I am that by furthering their goals, we shall further our own. Do I want this stupid hat? Minimally better, no. Okay, and now we come to something that will be established as something that happens in every expansion, but the first major quests are split up between two areas and two short quest lines. Help Atterell or help Emanueling? And with that, I end this episode and we start helping those two next time. Until then, I'm Mace and don't get lost.